When I was a kid, I loved Star Wars. I was a huge, massive fan. I still am a big fan of Star Wars. And so when Star Wars: The Phantom Menace came out, I was okay with it. I was okay with that movie. As a big fan, I was like, that's an okay movie. And then I watched it again. And I watched Star Wars: The Phantom Menace a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And as I watched it more, my opinion soured. The more evidence I got, the more I paid attention, the more I realized, oh, that's not a great movie. The things I thought I could look past. When I first watched it, its shortcomings were okay with me because it's Star Wars. Woo, I love Star Wars. And then the more I watched, the more I paid attention, the more I realized I'm not okay with the flaws this movie has. I can't live with them. The shortcomings of the movie started to bother me more and more and more the more I paid attention. And eventually there was a breaking point. Eventually I realized I don't like this movie. This is a bad movie. The more I watched, the more it bothered me, and the more I realized, yeah, you know what? Star Wars: The Phantom Menace is just a bad movie. It's never going to be what I want. No matter how many chances I gave it, no matter how many times I watched it, the shortcomings of the Star Wars Phantom Menace movie always bothered me. That is exactly how I feel about Blake Bortles. No matter how many chances I give Blake Bortles, no matter how hard I try to like him, no matter how hard I root for him, Blake Bortles' shortcomings are never going to be good enough for me. Harsh, but true. I have given Blake Bortles chance after chance after chance. I keep hoping the guy's going to win me over. In fact, I watched Blake Bortles mic'd up on YouTube. It's mic'd up against the Jets. It's a cool clip. Blake Bortles seems like a good guy. Seems like a guy I would enjoy hanging out with. But watching Blake Bortles on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs was a breaking point for me. It was for me where I realized I can no longer put up with Blake Bortles' shortcomings. The Jaguars lost to the Chiefs 30-14 on Sunday. And Blake Bortles was 33 for 61 passing. He did have 430 yards. Man, they did move the ball really well. They had a 4th and 2 on the goal line, didn't work out. One of the interceptions he threw was tipped. Not everything was his fault. And Blake Bortles had a touchdown throwing. He also ran for a touchdown. Here's the killer, though. Blake Bortles had 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. And they didn't score in the first half. Oh, and he lost a fumble. 5 turnovers. In one of the biggest games of the year for Blake Bortles, he did not deliver. And Blake Bortles defenders, people who are Blake Bortles apologists, in fact, many Jaguars fans, I'm sure, are not happy with what I'm saying. They will run out and they will comment things like, it's one bad game. He had one bad game. Leave our quarterback alone. Ugh. Is it, though? Is it just one bad game? That's not the first time he's had a game like that. And the other thing they're going to say is, well, the Jaguars only ran, TJ Yeldon ran for only 53 yards. They didn't have a running game. I don't care. I don't care. This was a massive game for the Jaguars. The Chiefs were 4-0. They're now 5-0. And the Chiefs' defense is not very good. And I could not fathom a situation where Blake Bortles did not have a good game against the Chiefs' defense. Going into the game, the Chiefs were last in the league in yards allowed per game. 32 out of 32 teams. 31 teams were all better than the Chiefs. They were 31st in pass defense. They were 28th in rushing defense. And yet, despite all of that, the Jaguars couldn't score points. They could not get the ball in the end zone against the Chiefs' defense. I mean, here's the thing. If the Jaguars lost to the Chiefs and Blake Bortles had a valiant effort, had 4 touchdowns, and they just came up a little bit short, that's fine. I would have been okay with that. If he'd even had, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a serviceable game, a typical Blake Bortles game, I would have been okay with that as well. However, in a matchup against one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL, in a huge game, Blake Bortles not only didn't deliver, he didn't even show up. He had good moments, but I'm out. I'm done. I'm done with Blake Bortles. I can't put up with it anymore. I'm over it. I can no longer look past Blake Bortles' shortcomings. I tried. I've done it. We're 5 years in. I can't do it anymore. This is not just one bad game. This is a series of bad games. I'm at my breaking point, and I can no longer put up with Blake Bortles' issues. I've given Blake Bortles opportunities to prove himself. And you know what? Sometimes he does well. He shredded the Patriots. He had some good throws on Sunday against the Chiefs. He wasn't all bad. And there are moments in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace that I enjoy. I really like Obi-Wan Kenobi's character. I like, what's-his-face, the guy from Taken, Liam Neeson's character. There are things about Star Wars: The Phantom Menace that I enjoy. It's not all bad. But at the end of the day, the issues outweigh the good, and I can no longer put up with the issues of Blake Bortles. I can't do it anymore. It's year 5. 2 weeks ago against the Tennessee Titans, he was shut out. He had 155 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. They scored 6 points. The Tennessee Titans only put up 9 points in the Jaguars' defense, and the Jaguars still lost. Now, in a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Jaguars throw the ball 61 times. They said, "We need you. Blake Bortles, your team needs you," and he could not deliver. He had 4 interceptions and a fumble. I understand one of the interceptions was on the last play of the game. And the Jaguars have the best defense in the NFL. Arguably the best defense in the NFL, but I think the best defense in the NFL. They kept Patrick Mahomes at bay. The Chiefs quarterback was 22 for 38 passing. No touchdowns throwing, 2 interceptions. He did run for a touchdown. But this was a winnable game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The defense did their part. And the Jaguars quarterback, Blake Bortles, was unable to deliver. Again, it's year 5. I don't blame people who have faith with Blake Bortles. I know Jaguars fans, it's sentimental for them. They like the guy. They're rooting for the person. I understand if Jaguars fans are like, you know what, Zach, we don't agree with you. We're still going to ride or die with our guy. That's fine. But personally, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. In my opinion, the Jaguars need another quarterback. Blake Bortles is not elite. He's never going to be elite. And the issue is that sometimes he's not even competent. In a big matchup like that against a terrible defense, against Patrick Mahomes, you got to do something. You can't have a dud. You can't do that. It's not acceptable. The goal is to win Super Bowls, and I do not believe that Blake Bortles is capable of winning a Super Bowl. And when you realize Blake Bortles' ceiling isn't aligning with your goals, you move on. Can he do what we want? No, we can't. So why waste 5 more years of our time? Why waste 2 more years? Move on. Blake Bortles isn't going to get you where you need. I don't like that. It doesn't make me feel good to say that, but that's the reality of the situation. Harsh, but true. That was my breaking point. Sunday against the Chiefs was my breaking point with Blake Bortles. I have given up on Blake Bortles as the Jaguars quarterback. Hi, my name is Zach Schaumler. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. This is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports, and it is my favorite thing in the entire world. If you don't know already, if you're new to Strong Opinion Sports, you can subscribe on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube. You can find the full entire hour-long podcast on YouTube, and you can also find more clips like this, the short breakout clips like the one you just watched. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow by telling your friends about this show. My name is Zach Schaumler. Thank you so much, and have a great day.